You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
If you grew up with Pokemon since the beginning, congratulations, you're probably married, have kids, and your kids love modern Pokemon. To your disgust. The Pokemon Company really has gotten so successful that it doesn't really need to care about making a good game anymore. It can really just do whatever it wants to, and it's just gonna sell. At least with Pokemon Legends Arceus, it actually started to go down a different route and kind of had like a really good idea. And that's kind of actually where Pal World really picked that up. Pokemon also doesn't really need to cater to its original audience anymore because, again, like anything it puts out is going to sell like crazy. But luckily there is a solution for us OGs, and that's the fans. If you've ever heard of Pokemon Unbound, this is an alternative to things like Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet that really cater to the original fans who grew up with it. This video is part 2 in true Pokemon fashion. The other video I did was kind of imagine the fantasy side of things. Like, I have some ideas in there that are never going to come to fruition, but imagine if they did. If you've never heard of Pokemon Unbound, it's a customized Pokemon game called a ROM hack. It's got Fire Red as a base, and then it really just kind of builds off of it from there. It goes into a separate region called the Boros region, and really in this video I want to get into why this game scratches that itch for the old-timers like me, who grew up in the 90s and that's really all they played. First, they don't rush you through the campaign like they do in the modern Pokemon. 2, they have customization where it actually matters. And 3, the game really doesn't feel half-hearted. Instead, it feels like a labor of love. The story goes, thousands of years ago, the Boros region was controlled by a powerful king who sought to harness the power of Hoopa. There was a mythical Pokemon summoning all kinds of powerful creatures through these rings, and the king's misuse of these abilities brought devastation upon the land, and Boros, the residents, quickly sealed him away. In the present day, there's an organization called the Shadows, and it wants to unleash the power of Hoopa for evil. You awaken, there's no memory of who you are, you awaken with someone who becomes your rival, and you are sent off to find out who you are as well as stop the Shadows. What's cool about Unbound is you have a story that has familiar faces, but they have new plot points. You have a focus on all the legendary birds from the first generation of Pokemon, as well as there's also several generations of Pokemon in here. So you're not limited to just Gen 1 or even one gen in particular. There's actually several generations of Pokemon in here. And when you begin the game, you're actually not starting off with your typical starters. You don't have Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, nor do you have any of like the newer things. You actually start off with Gible, Beldum, and Larvitar. And the funny thing about this story here is this is an E-rated game, but there's actually several adult things in here. If you care about spoilers, I'll have a spoiler warning on here. Once that goes away, you can come back to the video. What I mean by adult things in this is that you and your rival wake up, you find some Pokemon, and you get the heck out of this research facility. And in doing so, there's a hallway in the beginning of the game. So when you come back through this door, you see the kind of like the remains of the scene. There's men that are lying down, and you can clearly see they've been attacked. And usually in Pokemon, you see Pokemon on Pokemon, brawling, and they each like faint and they fall over. But this one kind of implies that the Pokemon, did violence to these men here. So that's kind of a little bit shocking. It doesn't actually show this thing, but you see like the scene kind of just tells everything, like environmental storytelling. Also, one of the first gyms that you encounter has when you go in it's foggy. When you fight the Pokemon, the fog actually causes them to have weird attack patterns and stuff, and kind of like limits their attacks. But then when you see the gym leader, he's all like, yeah, man, and he has a long beard, and his hair's all long, and his clothes are kind of just like tattered and stuff. So you kind of get the hint of what this thing actually is. It's not fog. It's something else. The cool thing about this story is it's also broken up into main quest and side quests, kind of like any other modern open world game out there. The second reason I think you'll like Pokemon Unbound is the customization. You may enjoy feeding the Pokemon in the modern Pokemon games. To me, it's really just kind of there to just, I don't know, have fun. I mean, it definitely is geared toward kids, but for adults, it's kind of like meh. Also, in the previous Pokemon games, you're also able to choose between a boy and a girl. In this, you actually customize your look. Unbound lets you have control of a lot of different cosmetics. You can control your jacket, your hairstyle, your skin color, your all these different things about the character itself, and you actually see the results of it. Like, I hate when you have a game when you customize your character only for you to not see it. Me being a Dragon Ball Z fan, I actually customize my character to look like Trunks. And finally, this game actually feels like a labor of love, not just some half-hearted attempt at a game. Have you ever felt rushed at a party? Sword and Shield felt like the Pokemon Company was just rushing me through the game, and just to get to the wild area and the multiplayer focused stuff, and it really wasn't fun. For example, like when you choose your starter, it doesn't matter which one you choose. If you choose the Fire Bunny, if you choose Score Bunny, your rival chooses after you, and he's going to choose the weaker of. Why would the rival choose a weaker Pokemon, especially choosing after you? Like the last one, I've never played Scarlet and Shield, but I mean, Sword and Shield really didn't have that much challenge. There was a really cool mushroom area I thought was the best part of the game, and then you had all the bugs in Scarlet and Violet that the Pokemon Company promised to fix, but instead they gave you DLC to buy instead. Again, this is really fine for kids because they're gonna have fun no matter what. But the original audience of Pokemon, it was really disappointed. The fans who made Unbound, you can really tell had a love of Pokemon. There's attention to detail in a lot of different things. Like there's attention to detail in the story with the focus on the legendary birds. There's attention to detail in the gameplay. The combat really is kind of more of if it ain't broke, don't fix. But the quest structure, I think, is really new, and it's really like when you play this thing, I really think you'll find that it's the best Pokemon experience since Generation 2. The only issue with this thing is it's free to down. I mean, it's free to download it. But since this is a ROM hack, and Nintendo loves to employ their legal team, I can't actually say how to get this game. If you do search on YouTube or Google, you'll definitely will find it pretty easy to download. So, I mean, it's not like it's this difficult thing to download, but, I would definitely suggest Googling around, and you'll be able to find it. And the other great thing about this thing is you can really play it very portably when you put it on your emulation device. I have a Miyu Mini Plus. So are you sick of modern Pokemon? Have you played Unbound? Let me know in the comments section below. If you are in your 30s, please check out this video right here where I tell you how to game in your 30s. And I'll see you in the next one.